you may have noticed that in these last days, that the people that you encounter are a lot different than the people that you used to encounter. There's a lot more toxic people. And the Lord warned us in scriptures that in the last days that we were going to see a different type of person than we had in the previous days. The Lord told us that we were going to see people that were lovers of themselves, and they were proud and boasters, blasphemers. He warned the church about the Jezebel spirit and tolerating the Jezebel spirit. So we're starting to see that these characteristics are becoming more evident the closer we get to the return of Jesus. So I wanted to give you guys some tips, as you would call it, on how to deal with some of these people that you may encounter. Some of them you may be able to walk away from and you may never have to deal with again. And there may be some that the Lord has allowed in your life, and maybe even some that the Lord has orchestrated to be in your life. And the reason that he does this is because he wants to work on us. He wants to change something in us. So sometimes he will allow someone to come into our life, or to, be in our life for a season. Maybe it's a family member. It could be a boss. It could be a neighbor. It could be anyone. But the Lord may allow somebody to be in your life for a time being because the Lord wants to do something in you. And that person is going to help you to get there and help you to overcome what the Lord wants you to overcome and grow where the Lord wants you to grow. So I guess I want to give you guys a few things on ways to look at these type of people, look at these type of relationships, instead of putting the focus on them and what they're doing, to glean and see what you can do to change your response and how you can grow. So, every time that let me just start by saying in James chapter 1, verses 2 and 3, the Bible says, "Consider it all joy when you face trials and testings, because it produces faith and it produces perseverance." So when these things come upon you, they are to better you. They're to help you move closer to Jesus, closer to what your destiny is. And these trials will help to shape you and form you into the characteristic of Jesus. So we don't want to waste these trials when they come upon us. What we do in them, it depends. The outcome is going to be how long we're in the trial, is going to be how we face the trial. If we're stubborn and we're fighting against it and we're not learning what we need to be learning, then the Lord is going to allow that trial to die down, and he's going to bring it back around again. That's why sometimes you feel like, why do I keep going through the same thing over and over and over? I feel like a hamster on a wheel. That's because you're not getting what he's trying to teach you. You're not getting where he's trying to put you. You're not making the adjustments. So he's going to back off, and then he's going to come in and he's going to try it again. So you may come in again next week. It may be another month or two down the road before he comes in. But when these things come up in our life, it is to help us progress in our walk and to grow. So it's important that we don't waste these trials, that we take them and we glean from them what we can glean and grow. It's going to be up to us how much we take out of these trials and how fast we're going to come out of them. If we learn quickly and we put these things into play, then the Lord will allow that trial to pass. And he doesn't do these things to hurt us. He does these things to help us. Therefore, our good. We need them because we can't get where we need to be if the Lord doesn't do this and help us in this direction. So sometimes when you have these kind of relationships with people, you may feel devalued or betrayed or rejected, and this is huge, and it has an impact on us. It makes us feel a certain way. It makes us angry. Sometimes it triggers us to respond in certain ways. Sometimes we run from people. We don't want anything to do with them. We hide from the situation. But God sees all of this, and the Lord will allow these trials as opportunities to cultivate his character in us. So when these things begin to happen, if we can start to look at them as, okay, what are you trying to teach me here, Lord? What do I need to work on? What do I need to learn from this? Show me what I need to do. And we start looking at the things around us, then we'll be able to receive the grace, the mercy, and grow through these trials. So, but first I want to say that a call to embrace the trials doesn't mean that it's a call to be a doormat. That's one of the things that I struggled with for a long time, and the Lord finally put this into perspective for me. Being humble and loving and teachable and being a servant or having a servant's heart does not give somebody else the right to exploit you or to take advantage of you. So you're not put in a situation for you to just lay down and let someone roll over you. That's not what this is about. Learning from this and growing is the goal. Okay, so sometimes God will allow a toxic person or a difficult person in your life. Maybe you see in this person, you're like, wow, they're so arrogant, they're prideful, they're judgmental, and he's not doing anything about it. Just know that the Lord will deal with that person at the appointed time to deal with them. But until then, he will use their behavior and what they're doing to teach you and to change your heart. So regardless of what they're doing and when he decides to deal with them, he's not going to waste an opportunity to help you grow. So one of the things that you may find when you're dealing with difficult people is that they will find fault in you. And a lot of times you'll find that they are overly sensitive to your faults, but completely blind to their faults. They'll pick apart things with you and they'll say, well, you did this and you did that. Or remember when you had a problem with this, and they'll point these things out in your life, but yet they can't see that they may be doing the exact same thing or see their faults. This is one of the hardest things that I had to learn, but when you get triggered with something someone says, this is probably going to be a little bit hard to hear and accept, but when you get triggered when someone says something to you, it's because they're right. It's because what is in you is being exposed and you're fighting against that. So that opportunity for that feedback is going to be an opportunity for you to humble yourself and actually take a look at what they're saying. Because most people aren't going to come up there and say to you, hey, you have an issue with X, Y, and Z, and I'm noticing that. It's going to take somebody with a narcissistic personality, somebody that is bold or brash. It's going to take somebody like that to come up to you and tell you the truth of what they see. And it's going to be really, really hard to hear. But if it's triggering you and something's happening inside of you and you're like, oh, like seriously? And you can't stop thinking about it and you're stewing on it and it's going over and over and over in your mind, that's because there's something to it. So instead of saying, I can't believe he said that, I can't believe she said that, take it and ask the Lord, okay, this hurts, this stings, Lord, what is going on here? What do you want to show me? What do I need to work on? Take those fault findings and look at them. Because I'll tell you, 100% of the time, when someone said something to me, you're this, you're that, you think you're this, you think you're that, and I was like, seriously? When I actually humbled myself before the Lord and let him teach me, the Lord showed me that I was everything that they said I was. I was operating in everything they told me I was operating in. And that's where the true growth started, because then I could see myself in the mirror. They were reflecting to me what I was. So another thing that you can take away from some of these toxic relationships is you can learn to be more desensitized when these things happen. Desensitized to things and situations around you. You can learn how to master your own emotions, because if somebody says something or does something and you continually keep thinking about it and you don't give it to the Lord and you don't take captive that thought, it is going to run rampant in your mind, and you're going to continue to keep stewing over it and stewing over it. Next thing you know, you're going to be angry with that person. You're going to start thinking about what you should have said, what you could have said, what you didn't do, what you should have done. And they're going to take you in a direction that you shouldn't go. They're going to take you in a negative direction, and you're going to spin out of control into the battlefield with the enemy, and he's going to have a heyday over your mind. So we have to learn not to be triggered. So we need to learn to care less about what they think and what they say, and care more about what God says and what God thinks. You may say this about me, Lord, is this true? Because you're the only one I want to please, Lord. I don't care what anyone else thinks about me. I don't care if they like who I am or if they like anything. I care about you, and that I am walking out your will, and that I am reflecting the character of your Son. That's all that matters. Another thing that these situations will help is to train you to walk in God's peace. Because if you don't walk in God's peace, the situation will get control of you. So by learning to go to the Lord, praying, sitting before the Lord and say, Lord, I'm really struggling with this person right now. I'm really struggling with how they're treating me, how they're responding to me, how they're trying to take advantage of me. I need your peace. I need you to give me guidance and direction and help me navigate this situation. You are my strong tower, and you are the one who gives me guidance. I'm getting that guidance from you today. So what do you want me to do? And as you begin to interact with the Lord and ask the Lord to give you guidance and wisdom and give you strength and direction, the Lord will give you peace. Jesus is the Prince of Peace. If you do not have peace in your life, you need to ask yourself, where is Jesus in all of this? If you don't have peace, you don't have Jesus, because Jesus is peace. He's the Prince of Peace. Another thing that you can glean from this is when these things happen and you are put in trials and difficult situations, is this is going to teach you to go beyond your limits. Go beyond what you think you can do. It is going to enlarge you. It is going to stretch your capacity to be able to handle difficult situations, to be able to handle difficult people. It is going to force you to find inner strength. And sometimes the Lord has to put you in a situation that is difficult or toxic or hard, because you won't be able to get that training in any other situation. So he's going to stretch you so you can carry more weightier matters of the kingdom. And then once you start to learn to navigate these things, then the Lord will give you wisdom that you can then draw on and you can use in other situations when you have problems in another area of your life or in another situation that you may have to walk through or encounter. We are not guaranteed freebies. We're not guaranteed that life is going to be great, wonderful, and grand. And then the last thing is that these trials will train you to look for strength in God. They're going to train you to trust God, trust Him for your needs, trust Him for your situation, trust Him to give you answers and to provide for you, trust Him to give you the peace, to give you the guidance and the knowledge and wisdom to handle the situation, you're going to be forced to lean on him in a whole new way when there's no one else that can answer these questions or guide you the way that he can. You can't go to someone else and say, hey, I'm just having a problem with so-and-so down the street, or the neighbor, or my coworker, and I just don't know what to do about this. If you go and complain like that to someone else, you're gossiping and slandering that person. That's not what the Lord wants. The Lord wants you to come to him. The Lord wants you to put that issue at his feet, and the Lord wants to give you wisdom and guidance. The Lord wants to tell you, this is what I want to teach you, child, in this situation. This is how I want you to handle it. This is how I want you to overcome it. You will be an overcomer when you listen to me and my guidance. You will overcome these things. So instead of looking at the people that God puts in your path or God allows in your path that you struggle with, instead of looking at them and saying, this is the problem, it's them, it's them, it's them. Look at yourself. Look at what is happening within yourself. Evaluate your feelings. Go to the Lord and ask him, what do you want me to learn from this, Lord? What can I learn from this? How can I do better? How do you want me to show and reflect your love, but yet not be taken advantage of during this, Lord? How do I overcome this? And the Lord will give you wisdom and knowledge. He will give you growth, and you will come out with the character of Jesus. You will look more like him after this trial than you looked before this trial. So embrace him and don't be afraid of him. They're designed for a reason and a purpose, and if you allow him to teach you and help you, you're going to become stronger, and you'll be a lot more valuable for the kingdom, a lot more usable when he can use you today, because you went through this situation yesterday, you learned to overcome this. Now he may be able to put you in a situation over here that 2 days ago you were not able to handle. But because of that situation, that difficulty, now you can go over and reach this child for him. Plant this seed, water this. So I hope that hope this gives you a little bit of encouragement in some of the difficult relationships that you're going through today. You will find growth if you look at it with the right attitude. So God bless you all. Take care now.